What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody's doing excellent. Coach Saleh met the media today during OTAs, and a couple of his comments kind of stuck out to me, so I just want to share some thoughts quickly. I'm running late to the gym, so hopefully I don't bungle this too much. Also, I'm making a change to the format of these videos. I know a lot of you don't like the way it is right now at the portrait, so I suck with technology, so I had to make some changes. Hopefully, for the next 4 or 5 days, I'll be able to do that. But one of the comments today stuck out to me was when Coach Saleh was talking about the secondary and with Sauce Gardner, where it was like, listen, we all know he's super talented, but he's got to earn his starting spot. And that is one of the things I think when you want to change the culture and change the tone around the team, you got to do things like that. You just can't hand jobs to everybody. So even though he is your number 4 pick in the draft and all these other things, listen, you're going to come in like everybody else and you're going to compete. And you're going to still give, Bryce Hall and Brendan Eccles and all these guys, give them all a chance, man. Let the best man win. They're doing the same thing with Becton and Fant, too. So I really like his approach with that, and that's something that I hope he continues to do as he matures as the head coach. I think we saw a little bit last year when he kind of early on in the season, players weren't playing well. They're doing like dumb things or making mistakes, and they stayed in the game. Then towards the end of the later part of the season, where he started benching guys like Greg Van Roten or making changes. And I hope that continues, man, because you can't continue to reward poor performances or reward penalties or things like that. You got to make a change and hold everybody accountable. And that's something that, I'm an older fan. That's something that Bill Parcells always did. So I liked his approach with Sauce Gardner. Also, I found the comments about DJ Reed very, very interesting. And this is where when you bring in quality free agents, how it kind of trickles down to the locker room. And Saleh talked about how intense of a competitor DJ Reed is, his work ethic. He's like a first guy in, last guy out. His attention to details, attention to film study. When you're bringing a guy like that around all these young corners, including Sauce Gardner, I mean, Eccles and Hall are very young. Michael Carter's very young. You bring in that mindset and that just mentality, and that's going to transform your position group. Also, Jordan Whitehead, same thing, where they're like, this guy is like just a vocal leader, a very good guy on and off the field, always communicating. That's going to pay such dividends for all of these young players. So it's really, really encouraging to see. And that's something that I think, the last couple of years, they've kind of been missing, where you have so much change, so much overhaul of a roster, so much newness, so many young players. Like you're kind of trying to find your way. And now you're starting to set your building blocks. Now you're putting your blueprint in place. And these players are going to play a huge role in that. The other comment I thought was interesting was, the departure of Matt Cavanaugh and John Beck. So now for Zach Wilson, he basically has 2 voices. It's Rob Calabrese and Mike LaFleur. I think that's a really good thing. Last year, I think the Jets had so many things going on. And we talked about this a million times, so I don't want to bore you. But, first-time head coach, first-time coordinator, rookie quarterback, the unfortunate passing of Greg Knapp. So you had all these voices sitting there and all trying to help Zach Wilson while he was struggling mightily. So now they had a whole year of experience as the season played out. He started to figure things out. The speed of the game started to slow down. He started to figure out the offense. And now this year, it's like they have a whole offseason together where they can communicate and decipher things and say, what do you feel good with? What don't you like? How can we cater it? And now having less voices is probably a good thing. Whether you have that firm relationship between your quarterback coach and your quarterback and your offensive coordinator. So I think, they streamlined the process a little bit. I don't judge them for what they did last year. I think last year you had to find a way to help Zach. But I think this year, the less voices, the better. A tight-knit group, and you all move on together. So another positive there. The other thing was the interesting comments about Mims, too, where, Denzel Mims is in the best shape of his life. He's explosive. He's bigger. He's faster, which is a positive thing. And then Saleh kind of hinted, he's like, and now he just gets more familiar with the offense, more familiar with this. And it's like, man, the kid was here a year in the offense. Like, how much more familiar can, it just seems like something is still wrong. Something must be up where it's maybe his attention to detail with the playbook, or was it paying attention in meetings, or something. There's got to be something else there because it just seems weird. And I still think that the cards are stacked against Mims because he doesn't play special teams. So you already have, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, and Berrios. You have 4 guys ahead of him. So usually your 5th and 6th receivers got to be special teams contributors. And he doesn't really do that. So he's got to really excel. And I hope he does, man. If he can come back and be like a legitimate weapon in this offense, I think that'd be phenomenal. But that remains to be seen. So just interesting comments. I'm not, like I said, only a 4-minute video. I like to watch all the press conferences and see what each guy says. The other thing was about Ulbrich. I'm talking about the defense. And this continues to bother me a little bit. And I wish somebody can look at all the big chunk plays the Jets gave up last year, especially on 3rd down, and the personnel groupings that were on the field in terms of the defensive line. Because Ulbrich is sticking to his stance where, each defensive lineman is going to play 30 to 35 snaps. They're going to do their rotations. So for me, it's like I understand you want to keep guys fresh. You want to get their best reps. At the same time, on those key plays in the game, like those big third and longs, this and that, you got to get off the field. Like, I want Quinn Williams on the field. I want Rankins on the field. I want Carl Lawson on the field. And if I remember, obviously we drank a lot last year during the games. You have a good time, and you're watching the chat and everything else. But it almost seemed like in some crucial times, Quinn Williams wasn't on the field, where you look at the personnel grouping in a big spot, and it wasn't your best guys. Now, I know this could be all like lip service, in the offseason, but if you're getting, these close-knit game, a close AFC East game or a pivotal game and, fourth quarter crunch time or whatever, it could be a big spot in the third quarter where the game could be slowly getting away or whatever it is. Like, I want my best guys out there, man. So I'm curious to see how he handles that. Right now it's like they may have learned a lot last year and they have a lot more depth this year in terms of, rotating in players like Jermaine Johnson and, Bryce Huff and all these guys. But I'm fascinated to see how they truly handle that, because this defense must be much improved this year. There is no excuse to have, a a bottom 20, bottom 10 defense. You got to be a top 20 defense this year, man, with all the talent these guys have. So, quick thoughts. I rambled. I'm sorry. I'll talk to you later.